Happy New Year and welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I can't believe we actually finally reached the end of season one. It's been an incredible journey, and I want to take this moment to thank each and every one of you for being a part of it. Your support, your messages, and your feedback has meant the world to me. This is a reflective episode. We're gonna be embracing growth through discomfort as a 2024 reflection. I'm gonna dive mostly into the lessons that 2024 has taught me about growth, discomfort, and at the end, we're gonna talk about what's coming next. Um, every day is a lesson, right? I don't even know where to start, but I feel like I went into 2024 without expecting anything. So everything that happened to me that year was very spontaneous. The one goal that I actually had was celibacy, but nonetheless, I didn't actually plan anything. I didn't have goals. People always have resolutions for New Year's and stuff. I didn't have anything. I didn't even have a journal at that point. So I feel like everything that happened was very spontaneous the whole year. It was very spontaneous. Um, yeah, so I'm just gonna share some of the growth, discomfort, and lessons and shifts that I've experienced in 2024. I right now I feel very demotivated, but I guess you know, it's life, it happens, so we move on. 2024 has been a very reflective and like a year of real transformation for me. I feel like I faced major challenges that forced me to grow in ways that I didn't expect. I became a whole different person. There were moments of fear, doubt, and discomfort, but they all became a driving force behind my personal growth. I faced like I had a lot of things that pushed me out of my comfort zone. I became I became a very I don't want to say I became a better version of me, but maybe I did become a better version of myself. Looking back at the person that I was in 2023 and the person that I became in 2024, there's been major changes. Changes in my character, the way I carried myself, the way I talked, the way I dressed, like literally everything. And most of the time, I don't even know if I just want to go into details when it comes to what I'm talking about, but I know the people that know me know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, but I feel like, God, I've had a lot of like a shift in mindset, the way that I viewed myself. I changed the way that I viewed myself, obviously, and I've grown a little bit more confident in myself and the things that I did. Which obviously it is very important, significant growth, and it's something that I shouldn't be feeling ashamed about. I don't know, why I feel ashamed about, but I feel like I lost myself, to be honest. Maybe that's why I kind of feel like the change that I experienced also, changed me. Maybe I missed the person that I was before 2024 started, but it's not bad when I look at it. It's actually good. Anyway, let's talk about my biggest takeaways from 2024, the lessons that I've learned. Um, the biggest lesson that I learned this year was that growth doesn't always look like success, right? Let me say that again. Growth doesn't always look like success. It sometimes looks like failure or setbacks, but even in those moments, personally, I feel like I found strength that I didn't know that I had. For example, I had to repeat my second year like in 2024. Like I was going into third year for nursing, but I had to repeat it because I failed. Would I say failed one module? I wouldn't say failed it because my practical got cancelled because of various reasons. One being the fact that I had a lot of absence days because I had like an accident that twisted my ankle, which meant like I couldn't work properly. I couldn't go to work, and I don't even know what was wrong with me in that moment. But there had days when I just didn't feel like working, and I stayed home. Like I would call in sick. And another reason being the fact that it would have been like an accredited. I don't know if the word unaccredited makes sense in this scenario, but it would have been an unacknowledged practical because they didn't offer practical exams at the end of every practical, and they didn't teach anything. When we do practicals, we're supposed to have days when we specifically learn a few things, to like add up to our hours. But the place that I was at didn't offer any of those things. So at the end of the day, I think 2 weeks before my practical ended, they had to cancel it. So it was a major, major setback because I had to, you know, spend time now in a different place than the one that I was in. The crazy part is that the place that I was at, I was in a hospital and I loved working in a hospital. It was the most interesting part about my career. Being in that place excited me. So it's sad how things happened. But then I realized that, it looked like failure. And then I realized that it was also a very major setback because now I can't go anywhere else because they usually plan our practicals like a year ahead. So which meant now I had to wait until the other class or the next class went into those kind of practicals so I can get a slot. That's how things happened. So now I had to like in the next, I think it was like August, before August, so like September, that was the end. That would have been the end of my second year. And then October, I start third year. So instead, in October, I was studying my second year again. And I went through a lot in that time. It was like a really hard time for me. I was having a hard time making it to class on time. I would be late or not show up at all. I had zero motivation. I would cry when I thought about, getting to know my new classmates and being taught by different like different teachers. I isolated myself. There are days when I would just wake up, lay in bed, lose all motivation whatsoever, and then just spend the whole day sleeping. Because, when you're sleeping, you don't feel anything, you don't think about anything, you black, nothing at all. So that is exactly what I preferred. It was easier. It was also easier for me to isolate myself in class, just sit at the back and just keep to myself. It was comfortable, to be honest. But then I learned as time went on that it's never too late to start afresh. Repeating a module isn't that bad. Not as bad as it sounds, actually. And I also learned that, it was actually good for me since I have already written the intermediate exam and I know now what my strongest points are and what my weakest points are. I know exactly what to work on towards the end of the end of year exam, the final exam. Why was that so hard to say? I have no idea. Anyway, like I said, sometimes failure, no, success doesn't always look, no, sometimes growth doesn't always look like success. Anyway, another thing that I've learned is people don't give a fuck. Nobody cares about you. To be honest, I don't even want to stress this enough, but I've learned that people don't give a fuck, and that's that. I've also learned that, you know, I'm not enough for some people, but I am more than enough for some people. I'll say that again. I am not enough for some people, but I am more than enough for some people. Period. I've also learned the importance of meaningful friendships. I don't want to dive deeper into this conversation because I feel like this specific topic, when it comes to like the importance of meaningful friendships, deserves its own episode. And we're not gonna go deeper into that, but it's a topic for another day. I feel like then we'll also talk about how the people you hang out with say a lot about you and your character, for example. I mean, these are just some of the key points that I got from having conversations with some of my friends when it comes to that this importance of meaningful friendships, right? Another thing that I've learned is take care of your health, mental, emotional, physical, more especially sexual health. Berlin is a crazy city. People share their private parts like they share. I don't even know how to stress this enough, but it's a crazy, 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 crazy city. It's a big city where people's private parts know each other more than the people know themselves. So it's very important to take care of your sexual health, more especially. But it's also important to take care of your mental, emotional, and physical health equally, you know? But don't undermine sexual health is really important. This is also a topic that I also feel like we need an episode on its own. Yeah, Sex in the City would be the topic. Anyway, I also learned that, you don't share the same dreams with your friends. You don't share the same paths with your friends. I don't want to go deep into this, but people are as individuals have their own, like everyone has their own shit going on. People have their own different views in life. They have different dreams. I don't even know why I'm learning this now, but I'm not gonna lie. I learned this like last year, that you don't share the same dreams as your friend, and that's okay. I've also learned the importance of embracing discomfort and how it leads to breakthroughs. You know, oh, like, oh God, I okay. Some of the things that I actually jointed down here, I'm just wondering, bruh. Obviously, the importance of embracing discomfort for me, I learned it a long time ago when I decided to start this podcast. I was like, you know what, I'm going through something. But then me going through something is the time where I learned, like when I learn the most about myself and how to deal with situations going further. And the breakthroughs that I've had now that I'm aware of the situations and how to go about them. And just things that have become easier because I've learned these lessons and I've acknowledged that, as much as it is uncomfortable, it gets better and it gets comfortable at some point. I've also been learning to let go of, perfectionism and accepting that growth comes in waves, not in a straight line, and your growth looks very different from others. Let that sink in. Because I feel like for me, it doesn't. It doesn't sink in because I get triggered sometimes when I see, people graduating to nursing school, people getting their own apartments, getting their driver's license, like, doing all these things, is succeeding in life. And I'm always like, when is my turn coming? When will it be my time? But then I hardly ever realized that my growth is definitely not a straight line, and it doesn't come the way I want it to come. Sometimes I don't get things easy. I have to work hard for the things that I want, which is always also a question because I'm always like, why do I have to go an extra mile when others just get it easy, But then my growth looks very different from others, and so is yours, whoever you are. I also learned that you shouldn't give up. I'm actually learning this now. I'm learning this now because I learned that a lot of times when I wanted to do an episode for the podcast, I felt really demotivated or I just lacked morale, probably. I feel like I just overthinked the whole thing. I overthink the podcast thing, and it's not simple, especially for me, because I need to be in the right mood for me to say the things that I want to say, for me to sound the way that I want to sound. But I'm actually learning this now more specifically because I'm going through something. I don't know what I'm going through, but I feel like I'm going through the shittiest phase of my life. I feel a strong wave of betrayal and I'm so demotivated. But I guess it's also because I put so much of my happiness on other people's hands that when they do things that hurt me, it destroys my world. I'm at a point where I'm actually kind of forcing myself to podcast because I want to keep this going on. But it's not exciting, especially when I'm feeling like this. But I'm also, it's teaching me to accept the fact that no matter what I go through, life doesn't wait for me to be okay. And you have to keep on. Like, I was just having a really major, crazy episode not so long ago. And I found myself thinking, fuck, I'm going to work tomorrow. And this is how I'm feeling, but I'm going to work tomorrow. Like I can't even call in sick because, girl, you gotta pull up your socks. Um, Another thing is my podcast requires a whole lot of vulnerability. And to be quite honest, ish, not a lot of people want to talk about their feelings. I feel like I also don't want to talk about my feelings, to be honest. At this point, just breathing hurts. Every second of my being hurts. Everything just hurts. But let's not focus on the crazy parts, right? Let's look on the bright side. I am able to get through these emotions no matter what crazy episodes that I keep on having, where it just hurts like it would never stop hurting. But then I get fine. At some point, I'm like, life is a bitch, but I married her. That's fine. That's actually a line from a song. Anyway, let's also talk about the good things that happened this year or last year. My rent was reduced 3 times. That is definitely a highlight because it went from being 600 and something to be 500 and something. But then the crazy part is that even though it was reduced, I'd still be getting a lot of money out of my pocket because a lot of things are being increased at the moment. Transport around Germany, for example, um, health insurance is also being like is spiking high, so it kind of doesn't make a difference because you lose, you gain, you lose, you lose, you gain. I don't know. I hope it makes sense. Another thing is my confidence grew in 2024. I learned to be confident in myself, my body. I learned to look at myself in a different view, to like myself a little bit. I feel like a little bit because I'm still not. Anyway, another good thing is repeating my second year. I'm just gonna put it like that because now every time when I'm in class and I'm learning something, it just makes more sense. It's like it's a good thing that happened to me. It's a change that I wasn't expecting to happen, but it happened and I embraced it, and now I'm seeing the good in it. I'm a little bit more smarter. I'm aware of things now, like I'm doing things differently. I'm very much into the profession now. And another thing, but this is not something that, it's not a good thing that happened. It's just something that I've learned. It's like accepting things that I cannot change. You can't change people. You can't confirm a person. People change the way the weather changes in Berlin. One moment it's raining, the next thing it's sunny. One moment it's sunny, the next thing it's snowing. I don't know if y'all have seen that, they just change like seasons. They change like chameleons. They change like the weather. People change, and that's okay. And I've changed too. But it is what it is. There are just things that you cannot change. And it's the best thing you can do is just accept. My perspective, no matter how much it hurts, just accept, find a way to deal with it, and eventually you will deal with them. You'll be fine. You're much stronger than you think. So yeah. But why is discomfort necessary for growth, guys? Like, why can't I just grow without feeling the way I'm feeling right now? You know? Like, what is the role of discomfort in growth? This actually needs like a kind of philosophical view, like how discomfort is linked to growth. I don't know. I should have probably done a lot of research when it comes to this. But all I can say is I used to shy away from anything that made me really uncomfortable. But last year I've learned that growth doesn't need, like not need, but it doesn't happen without a little discomfort. When we step outside to what feels safe and known, like we open ourselves to like new possibilities. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also the key to unlocking our full potential, right? If you're facing something right now and it feels uncomfortable, I don't know, just encourage you to like lean into it instead of running away. I feel like that's what helped me because like I said, I was not this person. But every opportunity that came my way to like explore the things that I wanted to explore, I took it. And I've learned a lot actually from it. I didn't run away from what was presented my way. I didn't run away from the change that came my direction. So try to look at it as an opportunity for you to grow rather than a problem. The next time, you fear or you just feel resistance, just ask yourself, what could I learn from it? That's the most important thing. Sometimes I actually just put myself through situations just so I can learn something. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I know it's fucked up, but that's just how it is. So, yeah, it's very important to embrace discomfort. It can lead to like a lot of growth, a lot of breakthroughs. Yeah. So, I don't know. I actually hope like this makes a lot of sense to some people. You don't always have to run away from your problems. Sometimes you run away and you don't deal with them. And then when the time finally comes for you to go through something, you don't know how to go through with it because when you were supposed to go through that specific discomfort, you ran away from it. Like you found ways to deal with it without going through it for you to learn that lessons. And now you're having a hard time in the present because you didn't learn from that lesson you're supposed to learn from. So I feel like for me, I always think if I don't learn from what I'm going through right now, I always feel like everything that I'm going through is preparing me for what's coming, what's coming, in the future. So I always really literally take everything that comes very seriously. I take life very seriously, but sometimes you don't need to. You don't need to. Anyway, sorry for another day, isn't it? Let's talk about what's coming next. Looking ahead into the year that you already stepped in. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the year that I was so prepared for because I'm turning 25. Can y'all believe it? Me, 25? I should be turning 21. Crazy. But unfortunately, I was born in 2000. So anyway, let's look ahead of 2025, right? What is the transition into the future? How do we apply the lessons that we've learned from 2024 moving forward? What are your personal goals for growth in 2025? Let me know. As we step into 2025, actually, I hope we are all committed to embracing the discomfort that comes with growth. It's not such a bad thing. In fact, it's not a bad thing at all. I figure the most important thing is personal growth, realizing and recognizing what matters the most in your life at this moment and working towards achieving those goals that you have for 2025. I feel like for me, the focus would probably just be on my school, my work life, my podcast, and my environment. I've learned that relationships are most definitely not my thing, which is a little bit heartbreaking because I do not intend to be lonely the rest of my life. But a little break on that wouldn't hurt, to be honest, to be quite frank. Um, yeah, I feel like I lost myself in 2024. I lost myself. I lost the vision that I had for me, for my school, my personal life, my podcast. I lost it. I'm not gonna lie. So it's been really hard. It's been really hard just looking back at that person that I used to be and the person that I am right now. But I'm not gonna take it as like a bad thing. It's growth. It's part of growth. You change. And change is not a nice thing sometimes. It's really not. But you embrace it as it comes, you know? But one thing that I'm also gonna be doing going forward, especially when it comes to podcasting, is I'm gonna share a little less as possible as I can. Because I mean when it comes to personal life and personal information, the goal is to avoid unsolicited advice and unwanted attention. People tend to think that they know you because of what you share on air. Gosh, I could be lying. I could be saying a lot of things. Oh, this is what I do. This is what I eat in the morning, and I'm lying through my teeth. So going forward, I'm just gonna try to like hold back and just generalize a lot of information. It's not just based on me anyway. It's just everything that we go through in life, you know. But personally, I'm just gonna slow down. Katama break. Um, this is a joke. Going to the gym. I wrote this. That's crazy. I feel like going to the gym is such a difficult thing for me. It's very therapeutic, but considering my work schedule, I'm probably just gonna be going to the gym like when I can, when I'm less tired, when I have time, for example, in the evenings, because I've never been to the gym in the morning. This is actually something worth trying, actually. But I feel like writing gym is a goal for 2025 is a bit, I see the vision, but it's a little bit unhinged coming from me, to be honest. But yeah, we're gonna do it. We have this. And living a vision board oriented life. I'm very proud of myself because I finally made a vision board. And oh my God, I forgot. Last year, I wanted to read as much books as I can, as many books as I can. But I read one and I finished it, and I didn't finish the other one. I'm literally like just about a few pages, more than a few pages behind. But I was actually sad that I'm just gonna end the year without finishing that book. It's really nice. And I want to normalize going to the library a lot. It used to be one of my favorite things to do, but I kind of stopped going. From I can remember the many times I was at a library in 2024. To be honest, I don't know why. And I just want to read my novels and finish them this time. Most importantly is my relationship with God. I feel like this is a resolution for everyone at this point. Your relationships with God, guys, we need to work on that. We really need to work on that. Anyway, thank you all again for making season 1 such an amazing experience. I'm so grateful for your support, and I can't wait to continue this journey with you guys. I'd love to hear what 2024 has taught you though. Like, I also want to hear, like, actually, first of all, what is discomfort to you? What do you do when you face it? How do you help? Like, how does it help you grow? You know, all of this. I'm really interested in this part. So feel free to reach out on social media and send me a message, something on Instagram. But I do have like the podcast page. It's called Growing in Discomfort on Instagram. So you can just hit me up there, leave me a message. And don't forget, season 2 is coming soon, so stay tuned. Remember, growth is never easy, but it's always worth it. So here's to 2025 and all the growth that's yet to come. Um, I actually want to say this. You know, the first season has been so special to me because mostly I feel like the podcast got a lot of attention than it had been for the last couple of years. Remember, I've had it since 2022. This is crazy. Oh my God, this is actually crazy. I've had it since a long time. And I just hope that it's helpful to somebody out there. You've learned even just a little bit about how to go through discomfort, then I've done my job. Like, if you know that next time you're going through a hard thing, like a hard situation in your life, sometimes I feel like I'm not speaking proper English. I can stress this enough. I feel like my mind is running. Wow. Like my mind is always on speed. Before I finish a sentence that I want to say, I'm already thinking about the next sentence. Sometimes I speak so fast that it just doesn't make sense. And then I try to go back to what I was saying, like think about what I said and how I said it. And then sometimes I find out that I leave some words behind or I cut some words behind. So it's crazy. Anyway, But I'm actually more excited to dive into deeper conversations. We're going to be having guests in the podcast. Can't wait for this. But I still can't say thank you enough for those who kept me motivated, even encouraged me to have guests in the podcast. I mean, it saddens me that I don't have the right equipment, equipment and space to host the podcast, let alone like guests. But I just hope things get better at time. And grateful, like, and hopefully I can also like do like video podcasts. I always do like this short, but I want like proper videos that I can post on my YouTube channel. But like I said, you know, everything does happen at the right time. Anyway, make sure you guys stay tuned for season 2. We're gonna dive into more uncomfortable topics that push towards us becoming the best versions of ourselves, right? And if you are interested in being in one of the episodes, just let me know. I am so willing to, have you on it and just figure out life and how we go through our problems, sharing your thoughts and everything. You guys have been so rewarding, to be honest, and I can't wait to see what's next. Don't forget to reach out. Let's keep the conversations going. But I do want to mention though one important thing that I feel like I forgot to mention. 2024 was a year that took me on a roller coaster of a lot of things, a lot of emotions, a lot of friendships, a lot of things that didn't end well. And it ended with me deciding to deactivate my social media. I felt and I still feel like I'm not okay. Like I haven't been for a while. For a long time, I just haven't been okay. I feel like I've been pretending. I don't know who I am anymore. And as the year ended, I felt just a very devastating need to disappear. I won't lie. I felt somewhat under pressure to perform, to do better, be better, act better, talk better. Just, I'm tired. It's like I exhausted all my energy in 2024. And I began the year with a very devastating heartbreak. I just came to a realization of a lot of things and how manipulated I was. Just a whole lot of things, a whole lot of emotions. And I'm at a point where the only thing I can do is just hope that I get better and pray that I get better, but then just keep myself alive. I don't mean this in a bad way, but I just reactivate my passions. That's what I mean. Do the things that I love, find the joy in the little things that I did, or I used to do that made me really happy. So that is the way going forward. But otherwise, I will not be active as much as I was, but I will still be active on my podcast and most probably my podcast page because I do need to advertise after all. But anyway, I really want to thank you guys from from the bottom of my heart. I don't know what language you just spoke there, but yeah. You know what the crazy part is? Even doing this episode just hurts me. It hurts me because it makes me feel like I'm trying so hard to be okay when I could just go through the feelings and just deal with them and then eventually learn to live with them. They will disappear, obviously, at some point, but I feel like I'm pretending and I'm not a person who pretends. And I feel like I'm lying to myself, and I don't like lying. I don't like lies at all. At all. I don't like lies at all. So, and I don't want to pity myself. That's the thing. I don't want pity from anyone, and I don't want to pity myself. So I just feel like the best thing for me to do is just, take time. Take 5. Yeah, let's take 5, right? You guys take care of yourselves. Love you guys. Bye.